Welcome to Linkronicity, where your journey and destiny link. I'm Stacey Kumagai, your Linkologist, and I'm here to help you link your life. How are you, lovely souls? How are you doing? How are you feeling? I hope that you are continuing to stay healthy and safe as we continue to keep on keeping on through this continued new world, a new normal, and I hope that you are doing well. Today, I was called upon the collective to actually deliver a bunch of important messages and the urgent sense of balance as we experience Jupiter Retrograde August 2022 through October 2022, as we come off of the brand new moon that just happened, and as we make our little approach to 88 Lions Gate. I know that's a mouthful, but that's what I'm here for. I'm here to deliver this. And I wanted to bring this forward to you to help you navigate some of these funky energies you're going to be experiencing in the next couple of months. So this is meant to be of assistance and to remind you that, no, you're not imagining it. This is really happening. So buckle up, knuckle up, and hang on, because we're going to be in for a really wild ride. Okay, so today, during my channeled meditation, I was told to contact the collective consciousness and to articulate something really, really important that you need to pay attention to and be aware of. We are going to be going through Jupiter retrograde. So, for those of you who have not really heard of Jupiter retrograde before, it's kind of like most planets that go into retrograde. Every planet has its own retrograde season, but we normally don't really hear a lot about Jupiter. But suddenly a lot of people are talking about Jupiter. And for those of you who are only familiar with Mercury retrograde, let me kind of give you the contrast of what makes it different, but how it's actually linking together. And this is the one thing that nobody's talking about. But I need to help you understand, because this is what I do. I help you link things together for higher level of consciousness communications for your everyday life, right? So for your mind, body, soul, spirit, health, well-being. And if you are feeling discomfort and you're feeling out of sorts and you're feeling like there's energy shifting, you're not imagining it, it's actually happening. But let me explain it a little bit. So for those of you who are familiar with normal Mercury retrograde, you're probably very well aware, because it's mainstream information, that Mercury retrograde really has a lot to do with communications. And that's communications in all forms: written, verbal, nonverbal, and also communications in how you articulate your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, and even electronically, it affects communication. You know, that's normally like when your computer has a glitch or whatever, you know, like that's, everybody kind of talks about, oh, it must be Mercury retrograde, right? Okay, so we're experiencing Jupiter retrograde August through October of this year. And the reason why it's getting such an uproar and attention is because it's going to be big. Now, what do I mean by that? The energy is for big change. The disruption has the polarity of being a gentle nudge to a big ol' full-on out push, depending on how much work you've done on yourself. So it's going to affect everybody a little bit differently. If you are proactively doing a lot of introspection, really working on your internal compass, looking at your spiritual journey, looking at the bigger picture of life, looking at what the pandemic has taught you, if you really stepped into change, this is going to be more of a nudge. For those of you who are still struggling with it, i.e. being dragged through the mud back from my 2019 videos when we were doing the Inner Healing series, and I was warning you about what was coming, you know, if you haven't done that work, you know what? It's never too late. It just isn't. It's never too late to do work on yourself. So you can begin that and get back into the groove on returning to that work, because maybe you've been a little distracted. How's that? Jupiter retrograde is actually connected to what we think we know about Mercury retrograde, in that the changes that are happening with this planetary cycle really is about the bigger picture. So as I meditated upon the 3 key things, I said, universe, please tell me 3 key things that I need to bring to the collective. Please bring me 3 key things. They're the most urgent sense of balance messages that I need to deliver. I was told exactly 3 key things, and now I'm supposed to translate that to you as to how that links to your life and how to work with it. So, first energy, most important, is to not ignore your intuition. Do not ignore your intuition. Do not ignore your intuition. What does that mean exactly? That means if you have a gut feeling, that means if you have a red flag, that means if you have some hesitation, you need to sit with that. To ask yourself, this is where it differs from every other time that we've talked about this, you need to ask yourself, are you ignoring your intuition from your head, or are you ignoring your intuition from your heart? And there is a difference. Because in retrograde, what happens is sometimes our head and our heart energies are just connected. So, we work on this mind, body, soul, spirit, health, well-being, like regularly, right? I mean, how many, 150-something videos that I've done here and 250-something blogs that I've done? We've been working on that, bringing the mind and the heart together to be in unison. Well, it's really, really important now to really pay attention to that energy as it connects to your intuition, because if you're fragmented in energy, because you're too tired, you're really drained of your energy, you actually haven't been paying attention to your gut intuition and getting the rest that you need, or doing what you're supposed to be doing, all of these things, or things that you're trying to sweep under the rug, or any of that, right? All of that's then going to fragment your energy glue, as it will, between your head and your heart, for you to be able to pay attention to your intuition from a real place, from the authentic truth of your soul, and you may make some decisions that really aren't who you are. That's the bottom line on that. And with that, I was told by the divine that we need to remove judgment of ourselves about our journey, because our journey is ours. And we need to remove judgment of other people's journey, because their journey is theirs. When we take all that out of the equation, we're boiled down to what is called pride. And we need to remove pride and ego from that judgment place. And you have to love yourself and see yourself in everyone and love the energy that you see, because everything is a work in progress. And when you learn to accept that, you'll pay more attention to your intuition and stop ignoring it. Instead, you'll honor your intuition as a gift. You will no longer distract yourself from the truth. You won't suppress it anymore. And you'll look at what it is you're supposed to be seeing and feeling, as opposed to be thinking and doing. And that's the hugest aha moment, the revelation that we're meant to experience during Jupiter retrograde on purpose. And that's for the whole world, on every level, personally, professionally, community-wise, humanity-wise, globally, everything. That's what we're supposed to be looking at. So that's number 1. But wait, there's more. Number 2. We need to be looking at who we're pointing fingers of blame upon, and instead pay attention to our own environment and take responsibility for not paying attention to our environment. What does that mean in human pedestrian terms, lovely souls? That means paying attention to the noise outside of you and paying attention to the noise within you. Let me give you some pedestrian examples. Why? Right? Because that's fun. That's fun. Using an analogy is always easier to digest information. So let's pretend you are in the countryside. Let's pretend you are sitting inside of a big red barn. And in this barn, there's a bale of hay. And you just want to take your nap on this bale of hay, relax in the shade because it's hot out, and just sit there and kick up your heels and be. That's okay. That's perfectly okay. In fact, it's encouraged. But what happens when the rooster starts crowing? What happens when the chicken starts pecking at your arm? What happens when the cow starts chewing at your toes? What happens when the pigs start squealing out of control? What happens when the goats start jumping all on top of you? You can't really rest, can you? You can't really just be. Because the external noise that is happening outside of you is happening for a reason. It's meant to get your attention. But if you're not paying attention, because you're not paying attention to your intuition, to say, hey, take a look around, then you're missing it, right? The same thing, and the barnyard analogy is just an analogy. I'll give you another one just for, so you can put it into context. Let's say you're on a red-eye plane. You didn't purposely sleep the day before your trip because you figured, I'll get some sleep on the red-eye plane. Okay, that's what you thought. That was your plan because you're trying to control the situation. And when you try to control the situation, what happens? That means your ego's in play because you're trying to control. But if you let go, maybe you'll actually get the rest. But the more you try to force yourself, right, try to get that nap on the red eye because you didn't do what you were supposed to be doing before by actually getting rest days and days ahead of your trip, then, the baby starts crying. You've got the airplane staff with the rickety cart with the one wheel that's making so much noise being pushed down the aisle, right? The pilot comes on every 2 seconds, make an announcement about turbulence, and you're like, oh my God, can't sleep, right? Okay, same thing. So as you're looking at this external noise, because you're blaming all of this external noise, the universe is actually trying to get your attention during Jupiter retrograde to go within, and instead ask yourself this monumental question: what kind of noise is happening inside of you? What kind of noise is happening inside of you? So, is your brain busy? Is your brain busy overthinking instead of letting you shift gears to let your intuition do the driving? See how it connects? See how this connects? Okay. If your head is overruling your heart and is overruling your gut, you're trying to control everything. And what happens when we do that? That's actually kind of the opposite. We're actually self-sabotaging because the intuition knows better. The intuition in your third eye, the space between your eyebrows, is plugged in. And if you're getting an intuitive feeling for a reason, it's for a reason. It's not willy-nilly. It's not frivolous. It's not, just for entertainment purposes. It's real, right? When you get a red flag, it's real. If you're getting messages about something you need to think, see, feel, or do, it's real, right? So if you pay attention to the external noise and then pay attention to the internal noise, then you'll stop blaming everything and start taking responsibility. And that's number 2, taking responsibility, right? So number 1 was getting rid of pride and ego and listening to your intuition and not judging. And number 2 was getting rid of the blame, taking responsibility for your well-being. Yes, taking responsibility and ownership. That's number 2. Number 3, we're looking at humor and focusing on allowing ourselves to have so much gratitude that we're just laughing at it now. We're laughing at how stupid we've been. We're laughing at for the mistakes we've made. We're laughing at all of the things that we ignored and didn't pay attention to, and looking at it now with a jovial position of, oh my gosh, that was a life lesson. I get it now. And actually having that aha moment, that epiphany of like, yes, I get it now. I understand now. As silly as it seemed, or as crazy as it might have been, my intuition doesn't steer me wrong, right? Taking responsibility can never steer you wrong. And having a sense of humor and a sense of forgiveness to yourself and a sense of forgiveness to anything else external that you blamed, because it really wasn't, it was an inside job. Happiness is an inside job, and things that go wrong are kind of an inside job, because maybe you didn't listen to your intuition, or you didn't pay attention, or had a feeling about this, but I didn't do this, right? You kind of like, it'll pass. Well, maybe you had to pay consequences for certain things because you didn't pay attention. So that's what the third one is having a sense of humor about it and understanding that your journey is yours, and you can't really make a mistake unless you don't listen to your intuition, because you're given that as a gift for a reason. And so here it is, we're supposed to have gratitude for that moment, gratitude for understanding that we're human and we do get distracted, and understanding that sometimes we don't listen to our intuition, but it's there for us to return to, and that's the point of Jupiter retrograde. So that's it. Simple as that, lovely souls. I was sent here, called upon the collective to bring these important messages about the urgent sense of balance, urgent sense of balance, urgent sense of balance, for Jupiter retrograde, August 2022 through October 2022. And I'm hoping that this helps you understand the energy that we're going to be going through in the next couple of months. So buckle up, knuckle up, hold up, and stand up, and know that if you work with the energy, all will be well, and so will you. So I'm sending you so much light and love, lovely souls. I'm Stacy Kumagai, your Linkologist, here to help you link your life. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Linkronicity, Blogspot.com, and go to Linkronicity.com if you want a private coaching session to help you with your very, very personal, specific, unique journey in how to deal with these Jupiter retrograde energies, or you simply just need a reboot. I will work with you personal one-on-one. If you go to Linkronicity.com and book a session, or ask for your 30-minute consultation, happy to do that, and we can get through this together. So, sending you light and love, gratitude from my heart, and appreciation for you being here. I hope that you are gentle with yourself and gentle with each other and gentle with where your intuition may take you. Yeah, don't fight it. Be gentle with where your intuition may take you during Jupiter retrograde season. Sending you a bunch of love and healing light, because this is what it's for. It's healing. It's a healing time during Jupiter retrograde. And know that all will be well, and so will you. Blessings, peace, love, light, and energy. Namaste.